So for those who don't know me, a lot of my TikTok page is trying to teach people how to buy and drive cars and lose as little money as possible. When I ran E85 on that, like I truly feel like my brain was like moving in my head. I don't even know how to describe it.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
What was that?
Hey, so welcome back to another episode of In the Driver's Seat with ABS. Before we start today's episode off, remember to like, comment, do all that, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We want to get more likes on the podcast. More likes equals more views. More comments equals more views. We want to keep doing these episodes, growing them as much as we can. Today we don't have Sean with us, but we do have my good friend Alec. Alec is a childhood friend. Alec is the expression and the true definition of a car guy. Comes from a car family. He runs his TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram called Alec's Garage. A lot of people confuse it with Alex, but it's Alec with the C. But we're very excited to sit here today with our good friend Alec. And Alec, thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I know you had a lot going on today, and you just had to drop it all for us, and we really are thankful for that.
Yeah, I know. I see no lies there. I was able to make my way through, though. Yeah, that was nice.
So we've known each other for, I don't even know, almost 10 years at this point, maybe?
Yeah, because I don't think I had my license when I first met you.
No. We were in high school when we met, and I remember meeting you at actually at Inskip Porsche. It was just it was a Porsche event, and I started talking to you and your dad, and we became buddies. And I actually owe a lot to this guy.
Did you not go to high school together?
No, but we...
Oh, I thought you did.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
LaSalle.
Oh.
Class of 2017.
Oh. I think we're proud. All right, continue.
Yeah. So
all right, I'm learning.
It's okay, man.
Yeah,
we're all learning here. But yeah, so I met you, and I owe a lot to you because your mom is like the most badass mom I've ever met. I don't know if she does it anymore, but at the time she was dailying 981 Cayman GTS, and I started a YouTube channel, and you were like, hey, like, do you want to drive my mom's Cayman for your YouTube channel? And I was like, what? So that's like the first Porsche I ever got to drive, and now it's just become an obsession, and it's led to one thing to another. And I really got to thank Alec for letting me do that. That was a fun day.
Yeah, well, you were like one of the few people I trusted at the time. I mean, you could tell he wasn't a crazy guy, so
not
he was,
yet.
Yeah. So he was like reviewing cars and everything. I was like,
yeah,
why not? Why not?
And you trusted me, you'd never crash it or destroy it or something like that.
Hey, the only one I ever crashed was my own, so we'll just leave it at that.
I didn't say it. I mean, I was just saying, like, a good driver.
Yeah, no, it was fun, but I think as we've gotten older, I think you are one of those people that I go to talk about cars or ask questions about cars. You are a breadth of knowledge in terms of Porsche, BMW, Ferrari, McLaren, whatever it is. You have really dove headfirst into this world, and you started your TikTok. Tell us a little bit about how that started, why it started, and what it's turning into.
Yeah, so the TikTok thing is pretty funny, actually. At the time, I had my Audi TTRS, the M2 competition. I think I had my flooded 335. We'll get into that later. And then I ordered the G80 M3. And I just thought to myself, I'll post some TikTok, see what it does. Because I've always wanted to do like some sort of social media. I tried doing YouTube, like Call of Duty when I was a kid. I had little Dazzle to plug in the Xbox.
Did that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I was good at video games, I will say. But anyways, so I posted 5 TikToks, and they got like 900 to 2,000 views. And then
that's like what our podcast does, so it's only up from
Sick.
here.
Yeah.
Hey.
So what did I do? Okay, so I'm at Inskip. I guess,
dude, everything starts at Inskip.
Everything starts at Inskip.
That should
ridiculous.
be their slogan. Everything starts at Inskip.
They should sponsor this.
It's actually not called Inskip anymore, but anyways.
Yeah.
Penske.
He's actually right. Yeah. So anyways,
oopsies.
I was in the parking lot. I was actually going to the gym because the gym I go to is right next to Penske, and I saw all these M3s, and I was like, I think that's mine. So I turn around, and he loads it off the truck, and I just take a TikTok of it and post it. I put it in my drafts. I upload it later that night, and I used like 2 hashtags, and it was a quick video. It's like nothing impressive.
Well, like, this is my M3, or like, what was it?
Yeah, I said my G80 came in. Ignore the missing pieces. It's in transport mode because it was missing like the front toe cover stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm jokingly talking to my friends online. I go, whoa, I got 1 million views. And I check it, and it's got like 10 views, and it went 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. It just kept crawling, and none of my friends were believing me because I cracked that joke earlier. And then I woke up with 2 million views, and then it just slowly creeped up. And then I think why my TikTok page kind of did well is a lot of people were asking questions in the comments, and you watch some of my TikTok.
I watch all your TikToks,
I don't have
bro.
TikTok, but I know it's big. I'm like a real boomer. I watched them the second time around on Instagram.
I'm trying to get
like
this guy.
3 weeks after they've been posted.
I'm hip. I'm real hip.
I'm trying to get this guy on TikTok. He just doesn't want to hear it sometimes.
I know.
But anyways, so the second video, someone said you should post the window sticker. Okay, then I got like 1.5 million views. Then someone's like, show us the lights, and I got like 200,000 views. So I just kept posting that M3, and every video was just going viral. And I was like, what the heck?
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't want to say it happened by accident because I posted the videos and everything, but I didn't anticipate, to blow up that much. I mean,
Dude, it's funny. I was at Cars and Coffee one day, and someone was like, is that Alex Crutch? I was like, hold on, is he really that big? It's like, yeah, bro, he's got numbers on
150K
there.
on TikTok now?
I think 140.
Okay, 140.
So it's funny because I don't mean to downplay myself, like, oh, only 140,000, but I get recognized all the time.
Yeah, it's
crazy. I was in Florida, and I'm at Toy Rally, the charity event, and so I've been recognized in Florida, and then I got recognized in New York, Connecticut, and then I was at, where was I? They specialize in all the low mileage Porsches and BMWs. I can't believe I forget the name of it. They're in New York, on Long Island.
Okay. Friedman?
Yeah. So I went to their event too. Just
I'm good.
They
You are. I know you are.
I know you know.
He's good. He's good. So I went in there, and I was talking to my friend. This is like, what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago? I go, I bet you I don't get recognized today. And my friend goes, yeah, I bet. I turned around, I bumped into someone. I go, sorry. He goes, oh, Alec. I'm like,
Bro.
Yeah.
And then the whole night we're walking around, and my friend's like, they just pointed at you. And it's crazy because now I can't even post on Facebook Marketplace anymore because it just gets flooded with people who are like, hey, I love your TikToks.
That's so funny.
I appreciate the love, but I'm just like, I'm trying to sell my car.
Yeah.
So I can't post on Facebook Marketplace anymore. Every time I drive, I always get someone DMs me a photo of my car.
Yeah.
So
no, it's
I can't lie to anyone about what I'm doing.
People talk about like TikTok algorithms and numbers, but it's like there's real people on the other end who are like watching it.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Well, to go back a little bit, I think you've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit as long as I've known you. I know that you started selling shoes in middle school and high school.
Yes.
I don't want to bring up bad memories, but didn't you get like beat up for a pair of sneakers or something?
No. I got scammed really bad.
Okay.
I didn't get beat up, thank God. But so I bought my favorite pair of shoes, the Foam Galaxies. Those who know.
Oh, I'm a shoe guy.
Yeah, so I got the Foam Galaxies.
That was crazy when those came out.
This was my sophomore year of high school, and I PayPal gifted him. And actually, he didn't scam me. They got stolen in the mail, and there was the shoe store in Providence that you could like go there and sell your shoes on consignment, and the shoe had like a scuff at the bottom, like right here. Not sure if the camera could see that. So I knew it was my shoe because a week later I followed all the shoe things, and they had my Foam Galaxies, and the police were like, we can't do anything about it. Come on. So I was like, I'm done with shoes. So I sold all my shoes. It's like I made a little bit of money off of it, only a couple grand, but that was great for me at the time. And then my cousins, they lived 2 houses to like the left of me, and they had all BMWs. And I blame them for this. I blame them for this. So my cousins, I would hang out with them. They had an E30 M3, a purple one. They had an E36 320i Hell Rot Red. They had a 330i ZHP package. They had a Honda Civic Si. And then my uncle had a 3, what was it back then for the E36? Was it 320 or 323? Convertible. And then my aunt had an X5, and I was always at their house. And I was like, BMWs. And then so they got me into BMW. So slowly after the shoes, I just got into cars. And I mean, my family has always liked cars. Like everyone in my family likes cars. People always say like, oh, those are your dad's cars and everything. As you guys know, my mom's into cars more than my dad. Yes. So I'm not saying my dad's not into cars. Not true. But my mom really likes cars.
Your mom loves cars.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for her. She really pushed me to do some stuff. Like,
she was badass. She had like a brand new like C4 Vet back in the day when that came out.
I'll make that a quick story. My mom applied to Colorado, and my grandfather was a big family man. He said, you're not leaving Rhode Island. Yeah. I'll buy you anything you want right here, right now. And she goes, I want a new Corvette. Done, deal. Got her a new C4. And so she's always liked cars, but yeah, she's definitely helped me get into a lot of, like, my F80 M3.
Yeah.
She, I couldn't have gotten approved for that. I took over someone's lease, and that's a really funny story.
So I remember the first car that you got was the E36 M3.
Yes.
And I remember you brought that over to the house, and you and I had been communicating for a while, and I remember that you wanted a 944 turbo, and then he found like a 944 turbo.
I know
for
one
like,
that might be for sale.
It was like
Right price.
944 turbo. They wanted like $3,000 for it.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't know if I should get this, and then that kind of like that fell through, and then you got the E36 M3.
Yeah.
And you got that for like a really good deal.
$1,000.
What year was this?
It was in 1997.
No, sorry. What year did you buy it?
This has got to be 2016.
Yeah.
Because I just had
This
my
is
license.
like right before the boom of all the used car prices like shot through the roof.
Yeah.
And do you want to know what's funny too? Ooh, gotta talk to the mic. My cousins, they had their E36s for a while at that point, and I was like, I got it for $5,000. My cousin's like, these things are going up in value, and it's funny because at the time they were pretty cheap compared to today.
Yeah.
I think he said he paid $2,500 for the purple E36 sedan manual off an old lady.
Yeah.
And
what does that go for now?
So that was in 99 purple or 98. It had 160,000 miles. That car today would probably be high teens.
Dude, I remember, it's crazy. I remember being in high school getting into E30s like big time and like E28s, and those would be for sale on Craigslist at the time. And you'd see them for like $3,000, rarely more than like 4,500. And those cars are crazy today. Like I remember driving by this guy's house. He had an E28 535 IS. I remember it was red on Cardinal, and it was in the driveway in East Greenwich. And we literally go up to this guy's door, and we're like, "Hey, man, is your 5 Series for sale?" And the guy's like, "Oh, I actually just sold it. It's getting picked up tomorrow." We're like, "Oh, man." We're like, "What'd you sell it for?" Just curious. He's like, $3,200.
That's the worst. God, that's
like,
the worst.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have that at the time.
Yeah.
It's like no one had that in high school.
Yeah.
And now it's like I would buy 4 of them by the chance.
Yeah, it's funny. My parents bought me that E36 M3. I'm not obviously scared to admit that. So the story is, I asked my parents for it. My cousin and I looked at it, and my dad's like, you don't deserve that thing. Like, why would I buy you that? And I got mad at him for like 2 days, and then I was like, I'm really sorry. Like, how spoiled of me to be mad at you that you won't buy me a BMW. Like, that's terrible of me. Like, I felt really bad about it. So I apologized, and the next day my parents bought it for me. So yeah, but they were so cheap back then, all those cars. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And my friends and I debate, like, are prices coming back? Some cars will. Yeah. Absolutely.
Some
not
stuff.
Not that much.
But I think there's been a little bit of like a market correction. But
regular cars.
Yeah, on regular stuff. But I mean, your car progression has, I mean, so you did E36 M3, then you did what? The swap a lease thing on the F80 M3.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's a good story.
How old were you in that? Was like
I was 17 something.
What was I,
I just turned 18. I can't remember.
So I was like 19 or 20, and dude, like
we used to drive around the wall.
Yeah, Nero and I used to speed. Not actually, but
no, not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. But yeah, so
that was fun. That car.
That was a fun car. Mine was a lemon, but they're good. So my E36 M3, my parents bought it for me. They were like, "You want to do any modifications? That's on you." I put about $5,000 into it and sold it for 10. So obviously I gave my parents the 5 back, and I had $5,000. And this is so funny. I heard about swap lease because my uncle, he got rid of a car in swap lease or something. Oh, no. This is a good story. I met that. Remember I was telling you about that guy in Florida who has all the Porsches?
Oh, yeah. Low mile 997.
He's like, swap lease. I get M5s for like $700 a month. I'm like, what? So I go on there, and there's an F80 M3, and there's this guy. He's a nuclear engineer in California. He's like, I'm leaving the country. I need this car gone. So it was $900 a month for 8 months, but it had like 12,000 miles. I'm like, 12,000 miles in 8 months? That's great. I'll do it. So he's like, yeah, you got to apply for the loan. You can't just like pay $800 a month. I'm like, oh. Like, Mom, can you co-sign for this? So she's like, yeah, sure. And then my parents didn't realize like what type of car they like signed me up for. And so the car comes in, but the night before, my dad goes, how much horsepower does that car have?
And it's like 210.
Yeah,
no, he
like
Googles
150.
it. He's like, this thing makes over 400 horse. I'm like, what are we gonna do? So nothing happened to me. I was a good boy, I guess. But yeah. So anyways,
leaving insert ice cream shop name here.
So the issue is,
So
though,
anyways.
so I went super over mileage. So between the lease, the mileage, and 2 sets of rear tires, it cost me like 14 grand to own it for 8 months.
Yeah.
It's like terrible. And
Wild.
so for those who don't know me, a lot of my TikTok page is trying to teach people how to buy and drive cars and lose as little money as possible. I mean, as this guy, what I do, I mean, some cars I drive, it's just a cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that was like the first big mistake I made in the car world. So that was terrible though. I thought I was making a great deal. I'm leasing this car. I'm doing great.
So
But, yeah.
so your advice is to not do that.
Don't lease cars.
Okay.
It's such a
Okay.
bad idea.
So from
die on that hill.
From the from the F80, what was was it the RS3? Was that
yes,
the next car?
so I my Jeep.
Oh, dude, yes.
How did we forget about that?
I forgot about the Jeep.
So I had a Jeep Wrangler, and I'm leaving Sunday River, and the whole mountain is ice. My friend's like, I want to go home, because he had a house in Maine, but he lived in Rhode Island. He's like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. I'm like, dude, we can't leave. We cannot leave. So we're going down the hill. I'm going like 10 miles an hour, and I just slid into a snowbank and boop. And so and my F80 M3 lease was running up, and the car was a complete lemon, so I didn't want to keep it or buy out the lease. And I was like, I need something that can be all-wheel drive. So I saw a video of a big turbo RS3 on Instagram beating a Huracan, and I was like, that's my next car. So I go online, and there's only 5 for sale. And then
It was like right when they came out.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
So a sticker on it was 65. It was a year old with 2,000 miles.
If you're like listening to this and you don't know how fast an RS3 is, like
Mine is
they
quick.
are substantially fast, like
Yeah.
even stock. And then you tune them or chip them or whatever
they-
you do
yeah.
quickly, and they're
And the engine is essentially
Nuts.
half of. It's a 5-cylinder. It's essentially half of an R8 motor.
Yeah.
And it's turbocharged, but it sounds like
it sounds
like
like
an
a-
R8. It sounds
sounds
so
Yeah,
good.
my RS3 was catless downpipe, AWE full exhaust. That thing was loud. And then I had a TTRS after, which had a turbo and everything. That car was really fast. You got a few rides in that one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
those are fast cars.
That thing
Very
was
fast
ridiculous.
cars.
That when I ran 85 on that, like I truly feel like my brain was like moving in my head. I
They're
don't even know
that
how to
fast.
describe it.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
What was that? Over 600 horsepower, like almost 700.
Over six, but it's light. It's such a light
And
car.
they handle it too.
Yeah, the best is when we used to go to the track in New England Dragway. There would be like guys in their Fox Body Mustangs with like all this horsepower.
Hell yeah, boy! There.
And then the first pass I would do
What,
like
are you gonna lay her down or what?
the first pass I would do like a 10-2, and I didn't have a fire jacket, so I got kicked out. That was funny, but yeah, the RS3 I put 50,000 miles in that in 1 year.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy
No
crap!
no one drives as much as this guy drives. I have
Yeah.
you on Find My Friends, and like sometimes I'll like go. I'm stalking your location, and I'll just
Alex
see.
It's like going 100 miles an hour.
Dude, it's like Alec is in, let's just say, Providence, and then I'll go back on. It's like Alec is in Westerly, and then it'll be like, oh, Alec is at Foxwoods, and then it's just like, dude, you go everywhere. No one drives as much as you do.
And it's not because I'm just driving for no reason. I have valid reasons.
Yeah, no, I know you do, but I mean, you also you genuinely love cars, and you've figured
too
out
much,
a
too
way
much.
at a very young age to make cars like your life, essentially, kind of
Yeah.
like we have as well.
Yeah, it really happened by accident. Like I don't know if cars I guess you can consider it becoming a career. I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I was into shoes too. Like I was a basketball player, so
Yeah.
I was beat them up and wear them. But selling and trading shoes is kind of like the car game.
Yeah.
Like it's a similar thing.
You deal with low ballers. You deal with people saying your stuff's overpriced. It's just part
I
of the
know.
game.
It's the
you know?
same. It's the same game. But there's like it's funny because there's different specs, there's
Yep.
different styles, like there's different like niches of shoes,
Yeah.
skateboarding shoes, hoop shoes.
I loved it. I had so much fun doing the shoe stuff. I was just so upset about the Foam Galaxy thing. But it's funny, if my like middle school stuff saw what I was doing today, so like these shoes I have on, I got these in Florida.
Yeah, dude. What are those?
Steve Madden, $39.99.
Oh, all right. I feel it. I see you.
If I
You're looking like you're going to play tennis at the
Steve
Hall of Fame.
that's the goal, isn't it? If I told my middle school self I was wearing $40 shoes, I think he would have passed out.
Yeah, he'd
Well,
be heated.
dude, what I think is what's always been super interesting about you, and I still like kick myself for it, is you seem to like find things and do things be at the right place at the right time. Like I'm not.
No, he's not wrong.
I'm
It's
not
ridiculous.
like trying to go over numbers or anything like that, but you saw a lot of success with like Ethereum and like Bitcoin and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
that's a funny
I remember
story,
you were
too.
telling me, it's like, dude, like Ethereum was like $20 a share, and you're like, you need to buy this. Like, you need to put all your money into this. I'm like, I'm not doing that crap. And then like you're like, oh, guess what I did? And I was like, oh my god, like you're
yeah.
really good at like predicting like trends and stuff like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that one. I love stories. I'm just filled with stories. Yeah, my cousin, he used to always like talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm like, what is this guy doing? And
it was like foreign language back, 2017 is like when the boom was. But
yeah, and he was like, buy Bitcoin. I was like, I'm not buying Bitcoin. He's like, okay, buy Ethereum. Like, okay. Yeah, I remember that though. I have so many screenshots on my phone of like,
I know,
looking back.
I know, what I'm getting at is, it seems like you have a knack for that, and you've been able to do that with like car prices as well. Like I know recently you've been flipping like a lot of cars, like your the wagon and some of the other stuff.
So it's funny because I don't know if flip is the right word, but it is flipping. But like I drive them. Like I don't buy cars and like with full intentions to flip. Sometimes I do, I guess. Like I bought a white E30 M3 for $2,000.
Oh, I remember that. That was
like
not that long ago. Yeah.
What does that go for now?
Well, the car had a little bit of front end damage, but other than that, honestly, as that car sat, I think it was worth like $4,000 to $5,000. I mean, that's $2,000. It's not gonna change anyone's life, but it's just the point. And yeah, the car stuff though, it's ridiculous. I think I just had so much experience with some of the stuff, like diving so much into BMWs. I know like what the BMWs go for. I know what goes wrong with them. So I kind of specialize in BMWs, as you know.
Yeah, you're a real Beamer guy. That's how we connected. Because when I met you a few years ago, we just started talking. You had your BMW, I had my BMW.
Do you know which one I had? Which one did I have at the time?
I don't remember, dude. You got to, like, how am I supposed to remember?
Probably the F80.
How am I supposed to remember?
I know about
probably the F80.
I know about his cars more about than he knows.
Yeah, I know. But I remember Alec comes up to me. We were at this car meet, and he's like, hey man, I'm looking at this E30 M3 shell, and I'm like, I saw it on Facebook, and he's like, I'm thinking about putting like some engine in. I forget what you said, and I was like, bro, I was like, I remember being like, bro, you got to put the S54 in it, and you were like,
yeah.
And you were like, that's it.
Yeah, so I bought an E30 M3 rolling shell.
I have a story about that too.
I don't make too many mistakes in life, I like to think.
That's not a mistake. No, it's a learning experience.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm never doing a project. There's a difference between. There's a difference.
So you're saying don't do a project car?
I don't like project cars.
Can't drive them.
Can't drive them. They're too unpredictable. Like I waited 3 months for a wiring harness. Come on. But yeah, I kind of broke my rules, I guess, and I knew I was breaking my rules. But I kind of always wanted an E30 M3, and I'm putting an S54 in it.
So for those that don't know, the S54 is from the E46 M3. Yeah.
I bought an E46 M3. Once again, I guess me doing my thing. I found an E46 M3 on Facebook Marketplace for $8,900, and he was in North Carolina. And we had a few mutual friends, and I go, does it run and drive? He goes, oh yeah, it runs and drives. I was like, what's wrong with it? He goes, the top doesn't work. I said, done, deal. So I wired him the money right away, and I never even met him. I don't suggest wiring money. I knew what I was doing. And so, I got this E46 M3 for $8,900, which was a no-brainer. Because if you go on eBay right now, those motors are like $6,000.
Yep.
And the car is kind of on the back burner right now. Like we're getting into it. We're putting parts in it slowly. But I wish I didn't do it, but I did it. So we got to finish it.
So talk us through the process of the build. Like, that build's been almost 2 years now, right?
A little over a year.
Okay,
or actually, it might be exactly. I think I got it in July or August.
Okay.
So I bought the E30 M3, and I didn't really know what motor to put in it at first. And I was going to do a V8 from the E92, but you have to cut the firewall. Or no, excuse me, for the V10 you do. But the V10 would have been a lot more money. So I was like, I'm gonna do the S54. It seems to have a lot of aftermarket support. And I got an S54, and then everything's just been a waiting game. Like the wiring harness took like 3 months, and some of it's been my fault. Don't get me wrong. Like I get other cars and I kind of forget about it. Yeah, the car's in my mechanics right now. And so, what else? Like, and it's just severely over budget. I can't lie. I was like, oh, this thing's gonna take $15,000 to get on the road. No. Like what happened was, when I Googled E30 S54 swaps, all the articles are from 2012, 2013. And I was like, like $200 for this, $300 for this, like no problem.
Yeah, but it was back.
Everything now is
turns out everyone has caught wind of these swaps. So an oil pan from a 5 Series is $400 instead of $80.
Oh my God.
And that's one of few parts I'm naming. E36 control arms, the E36 automatic differential drive shaft. Those used to be $100. Now they're $400. So everything just tripled. So you can see where things got expensive really quickly. So I don't suggest doing project cars or huge restorations. I guess we'll talk about my GT3 later. But
yeah. But
because it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
I like knowing what I'm getting myself into.
And it's funny because like it seems like now there's so many people that are into cars for like good reason.
Yeah.
But like in 2005, 2010, it's like there wasn't this like social media wave of like popularity.
Yeah, that's another thing my friends and I talk about is
it's just pumped it up like crazy.
You want to know what app I blame too?
TikTok.
I hate to say it, cars are a trend to some people.
Yeah.
Like I think people just do cars for some social media presence and stuff. I swear.
Just like you, bro.
Come on.
No,
but yeah, there's just a lot more people in the game now, I feel like. Way more people in it. And I feel bad for the people who are getting into it now because some cars are just so expensive.
Yeah, it's tough to get into it now.
Ridiculous.
It really is.
Ridiculous. If I was getting my license now, I don't even know what I would want to buy. I'd be like, I'd probably just have a Honda Accord and call it a day. My Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, you have a Honda Accord, and that's like your favorite car.
Yes. If I became a billionaire tomorrow, I'd still have that car. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. 2016 Honda Accord Sport. It was my sister's. My dad leased it for her. I was with him. $1,000 down. $200 a month. And it was 15,000 miles a year.
Yeah. You can't do that now.
What does that get? That doesn't even get you. You can't even do that today.
Yeah, and it is interesting how the prices of things have like changed so much since we were, at the age of having our first car. I mean, like you said, I do feel bad for kids getting into that today. I mean, kind of separately, like the other day I was down in town and I see this group of kids go by on electric bicycles. And then I see one kid behind him on just a regular bike, and he's like trying to keep up with the group.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Those electric bikes aren't cheap.
Dude, the electric bikes are like crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Like
I found this carbon race bike that I was gonna buy, like a bicycle.
$10,000.
Yeah, no, it was like a deal, and I was gonna buy it, and then I'm thinking to myself, why would I spend this money on a bicycle when I could get? And I just rode an electric bike the other day. I'm doing literally 30 miles an hour through a parking lot. It's like almost the same price. It's like, why am I using my own legs anymore?
Yeah.
What's the point?
It's almost like, I don't want to say we're going like back in time, but like when the bicycle came out, it was such like an ease of access and freedom for people, and now with the e-bikes, like it's this whole new wave of freedom. I see so many
kids on
Everyone is on an e-bike.
Everyone's on an e-bike.
And I felt bad for that kid. I was like, oh man, like
that was Antonio.
That's no, but I was like, oh, like maybe he's like, working up for an e-bike, and it's like all his buddies have an e-bike, and like, I hope that kid gets an e-bike. I hope he gets it for Christmas or something. I felt bad for him.
I picked him up in the Ducati, bro.
I have to admit something. I do want an e-bike.
Yeah,
I kind of want an e-bike.
Here's the thing, though. I'll never use it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, like, my neighbor, our house is like a very hilly area, and I just see this guy like scooting everywhere, and I'm like, Joe, like, what is that? And he's like, my electric bike. I love this thing. He goes to like, from where I live. Obviously you don't say, but he goes to the wall.
To the wall?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go down like the Jamestown exit, like past Speedy Way and everything. He goes on these long drives. He's like, I'm gonna go to the market.
Yeah.
He's got I'm like,
does he wear a helmet?
They move.
No,
dude, that's the thing, man. Like,
no.
So, like I love motorcycles, and I mean, you got my Ducati shirt on. Like, I like breathe that stuff, and like,
that's crazy.
I would not want to be riding an e-bike at 40 miles an hour without a helmet on. And like everyone you see riding an e-bike, and like, of course they're supposed to be limited to 15 miles an hour, but all these companies have the key that you can get for it. It's like a Hellcat. You get the special key, or a Bugatti, and then your e-bike goes 40 miles an hour. If you fall off on an e-bike at 40 miles an hour, and
you're so
dead. You hit your head, like you could die.
You are gonna die.
Yeah, it's like taking a watermelon and dropping it from the kitchen counter. It's gonna splat open.
I mean,
it's dangerous. I really want to see like what the statistics of what happened.
Move. They're fun.
The neighborhood I grew up in was a big hill. I don't think you ever went to my first house I grew up in. big hill. I used to love riding my bike. It wasn't an e-bike. It was just a regular bike. It was like a good
What a
workout.
loser! You had a regular bike, man.
I know. I had a
Huffy.
10-speed mountain bike. How
Dude,
pathetic.
the mountain bike or the BMX bikes were like the bikes when we were
Oh, yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Everyone wanted one of those.
No, I had a mountain bike. I loved that thing. And I remember when you got toward my house and you just go downhill, and I would go really fast and hit the brakes, and the tires would like lock up, and my dad's like, why are your tires like half worn and everything like that? But I kind of miss riding a bike, and I was like, I want an e-bike. Then I'm like, kind of defeats the purpose of the bike though.
It totally
Yeah.
defeats the whole purpose. It
I mean-
totally defeats it.
I will say though, if I lived in a city where I needed transportation, electric.
Yeah. Oh,
Have you
of
seen
course.
some of the? They have these electric, like dirt bike looking things. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not dirt bikes, but they're designed like a dirt bike
Yeah.
with super heavy duty suspension. Like that would be super
I'll
fun.
do you one better. Electric jet skis.
Oh, I've seen
dude,
those.
yeah.
I that scares me.
That would be nuts.
Well, dude, it like
I've been underwater with my jet ski sometimes, and I can't imagine if there was a battery in there.
Oh my
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
God.
waterlocked and everything. I know, but come
it'd
on.
be like when DJ Khaled was like on Snapchat and he like got remember that?
Yeah,
When
of course.
he loved.
I'm a big DJ Khaled fan.
we out here. We ain't got no lights.
dude.
They don't want us to get back to shore.
The best is when he would get like lost. He got lost at night once.
That's what
It's easy for the sun to go down, because I remember one time I'll tell you I sold my jet ski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you did well on that too. Dude,
Yeah.
you're like the master of all deals. All right, let's
Make me blush.
let's get back to cars here. So,
Should I tell him how much money I made off my jet ski?
dude, you made a lot of money off the jet ski.
I owned it for 6 years and I got paid $3,000 after insurance,
Oh my
gas,
God.
and maintenance.
Dude, he is the best wheeler and dealer I've ever met. Tell us about the deal that you have a couple deals going on right now, but what's the deal that you drove to our car storage today?
Oh, my car?
Yeah.
Oh, my M5, my V10 M5.
And you got that for a steal too.
I'm sorry, I feel embarrassed. I had to think about like, what is he talking
No,
about?
no, it's okay.
What did you drive today? Shit.
It's okay. It's a
Yeah,
good
I drove
problem to have.
I drove my M5 V10. So it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was like, you know what? These V10s, they're unreliable. They're maintenance heavy. I was like, I want to own one before it's too late. You don't want to own one in 10 years from now. Come on. I mean, maybe as a collectible. So I go on Facebook, lovely place, and I see this terrible ad. Terrible. It's like one sideways photo and the camera's like halfway. And then,
Oh yeah, baby.
then you can
Tell me more.
You can-
This is what I'm into.
and he in the description he said like, new engine, car's been fully repainted, and I'm like, I go, there's no shot someone put a new engine here. Like, no one's putting a refurbished engine in these cars if it's cheap on Facebook. And I go, it's repainted. So I go there, car's clean. It's got 2 folders of receipts. He just did the SMG pump, and I put my paint meter on it.
Oh, this is a Pappy special.
Yeah, I bring my paint meter every time I look at a car now.
Hell yeah.
Every time I look at a car now, I bring my paint meter. It's just a great negotiation tactic.
Oh yeah,
it was in
it
my
doesn't
Mini
even
for,
matter
like,
what it
2
says.
months.
Like, oh, you just put it there. Like, oh,
And no one knows how to read a paint meter, so I could be like, I mean, I don't, but I could be like, this is repainted. So
It is.
I put the paint meter on it, and the passenger door's been repainted. That's it. And I'm like, you said this whole thing's repainted? He's like, I think. And usually, one thing I want to say is, when I look at cars, I search nationwide. People always say, oh, car deals aren't like that in my state. Then stop looking in your state. Get on a plane. I understand not everyone has time, but like, if you want to get a good deal, you're gonna have to
yeah, I
travel.
look everywhere too. You
Yep.
can't
So
be restricted.
I got really lucky. This M5 was 20 minutes away, and I was talking to him, and it turns out we had a bunch of mutual connections. And
It's Rhode Island.
he's like, I think I underlisted it before we even started negotiating. And I just like kept going down on the price. I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do that, which isn't really a lie. The car did need some work. I put new rear brakes on it, oil change, needs new front tires. So whatever.
That car
but
takes a lot of oil. 10
expensive-
liters of oil.
first
Yeah.
expensive oil change I've ever had in my life. The oil itself was $112. The oil filter was $15. 3 drain plugs. Then the oil filter was like in the wheel well. So all said and done, if you go to a dealership, I don't even know how much it
Oh, it'd be
charges.
like a $500 oil change.
You know what I want to talk about? I wanna
Dealers?
talk- Yes, partially. A lot of people ask me like, how do you do what you do? Like, how's maintenance? Just don't go to a dealership. Just it's such
That's a big
Said
simple,
it here, folks.
It's-
Don't go to the dealership.
I'm not trying to bash anyone who like owns a dealership or anything.
They know. They know
It's
what's
so
going on.
expensive. Like, I'll give you an example. Remember my blue M2?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the few cars I regret selling. I actually have nightmares about it like once in a while. Anyways, so I do. So I had a burble tune. This was the funniest thing ever. I had a catless downpipe, and I put flame tune and burble tune. I was going to a show near Iggy's Beach.
Flame tune.
Hell and I was like, I want the loudest, burbliest, flamey car there. And keep in mind, the night before, I put new spark plugs and coil packs in it.
Oh, God.
And I'm on the highway bouncing off the rev limiter, and I'm spitting flames, and all of a sudden, I just kind of hear like the car like kind of like die out on me, and it's just not making power. No check engine light though. It's like I'm like mashing it, and the RPM's like, and so my mechanic is on vacation, and this was my daily driver at the time, and so I'm like, what am I gonna do? I mean, I have other people who work on my cars, but one guy works on my cars, as you know. So he's like, I'm gone for like 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, well, I can't wait 3 weeks. I go, you know what? Let me call the dealership. How much do they want for spark plugs and coil packs?
Oh, no.
Just spark plugs and coil packs.
Yeah.
Can you guess how much they wanted for labor and parts? Actually, for context, let's say if you go to FCP Euro and pick up spark plugs and coil packs, this is 2020, maybe $300. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more. 300, 350.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
$2,000, $1,500.
What's your guess?
Yeah, my number was $2,000.
They wanted $1,600.
Oh my God.
It cost me like $400 to get it fixed if you do it yourself. Like stuff like that adds up. When you go through as many cars as I do, if I were to go to a dealership, I would not be able to do what I do. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
It would be so much more money. And so it's kind of like real estate. You find a property manager or realtor out of state you can trust. It becomes easy. So I like to say for cars, just got to find a mechanic you can trust, or even an independent shop for those who don't know what
and
indie is.
you posted something the other day about, something about your mechanic, and like, this is the guy, like, not exposing the guy.
BMW
but,
Wizard.
Like, this
I
is
call
what
him the
this is what I
BMW
do.
Wizard.
Yeah.
And I go to Trevor.
Yeah.
Woodward Motorsports.
Yes, that's where I would go if I didn't have my guy.
So part of the thing is, okay, if you don't go to the dealer, you have to find somebody who actually knows what they're doing with your car. Otherwise, they're going to spend time figuring out what's wrong with your car, and it may not be done correctly.
So that's nothing too, is some people, they'll take their car to a shop who works on everything. Like, let's say you have like an old Toyota and you're taking it to like the shop that works on everything, like a mechanic who does everything. Since he doesn't specialize in it, he might spend a while looking to fix it, figure it out.
He can't not charge you for that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So my guy, he's BMW certified. He's Master Tech actually for a long time, and then he's Ferrari certified. Mm-hmm. So I need to get a cheap Ferrari one day. But anyways, like every time I go to him, that's another reason why I like BMWs. People kind of ask me like, why BMW? I just kind of know them.
Break my wallet.
And my mechanic just knows them so well, and like it's just kind of as like my bread and butter. And so, like, I'll give you an example. Another time I'm driving the M2 and it's doing the same thing. It's kind of like cutting power, and I'm like, what is this? And this was right after we put the charge pipe and downpipe on. And I text him. I go, hey man, it's doing this. He's like, I know exactly what it is. He forgot to screw one thing a little bit more.
No way. The charge pipe blew off probably.
Yeah, he just like knows everything about the cars. And then on the way here, my E60 M5 got a warning light. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's that. It was just a gas cap was loose. It was a horrible description, like the photo right after. But
so, we've spoken about the E60 M5 before. What from that experience is like? Is it similar to your F80? Like, is it like your E46? Like, is it like your E36? Like, what do you like about the E60 M5? Because a lot of people like that car for a couple different reasons. Of course, everyone loves the V10, but like, what is it about that car that you like?
So people don't talk about this. It's very comfortable. Now, maybe I'm saying this because I'm used to like all sports cars. I mean, the E60 is a sports car.
You're also very tall, so like certain cars don't fit you right.
Yeah. If I could fit in a Miata, I'd have a Miata. I don't fit in Miatas. Now, someone's going to comment like, oh, you can put a lower seat bracket in it. I'm good. I can't. So the E60 M5, it's a big car. Like I fit in it perfect. So what do I like about it? I hate to give the answer everyone else gives, but that V10's just fun. It's fun having like that's still a fast car today.
Oh yeah.
Like the motor, it still pulls. It makes all these noises. Handles really good. I know I'm giving like a generic answer of everything, but I just like how it kind of feels ahead of its time. So I had an E63. Remember that?
Oh,
I had it for 1 week.
Oh, the Mercedes,
which was the rival at the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, you
had that car for like 5 days.
I had it. I bought it Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and I sold it Wednesday at 10:30, like the following week. So
yeah.
I mean, obviously, like you know me off camera. I like all cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do like BMWs, but like I love Mercedes. Mm-hmm. I love Audi. That M5 is a better car than the E63.
Really?
I will die on that hill in terms of being a performance car.
Okay.
In terms of being a luxury car, that E63 is way better. The air suspension. Whew.
That makes sense.
So like, but the M5, I like how sporty it is and how raunchy it is, and I like the SMG. Actually, let me correct my words here. I like how enthusiastic it is. Now, if I'm someone who bought a very clean example and paid like 30 grand for an E60 M5 with an SMG, which you're nuts if you paid 30 grand, but the point I'm trying to say is I paid a lot less for it. Did I tell you how much I paid for the M5?
Yeah.
I'll keep it off camera, but for the amount of money I paid, it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like, someone messaged me last night, like, hey, I'm looking at an E46 with an SMG. I said, pass. I'm not trying to roast anyone with an E46 SMG, but like in a small, fun coupe like that,
Yeah, no, you want to stick in it.
I can't imagine that. But the M5, like, it kind of works, and it's kind of funny because, like, when you downshift, you can blip the throttle too.
Okay.
And it's like kind of fun. And I just like how stupid it is. Like, there's times where that transmission is like, what's going on?
Oh yeah.
It's like so my best friend's dad had one growing up, and like at full throttle, you click a paddle, it's like boom, like it's right there. But if you're like half throttle or in town,
hates it.
It's just like
doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It's that weird swaying motion that'll make you car sick.
So it's good though when you're going fast and shift it. Like it's a fast shift, and if you see my video, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? Like around the city and stuff, it's painful.
Yeah.
I don't drive around the city. I mean, I keep it on my Lyft most of the time. Like, I don't drive the M5 a lot.
It also like gets what, 10 miles a gallon?
So yes, right now I'm recording a video. I filled up before I came here, and I said, let's see how many miles per gallon I get. So I drove here. I burned, I don't even know. I think it gets about 10 miles a gallon though. But I'll do the math after today, but I'm guessing about 10.
That's just absurd.
So actually, I'll tell you a funny story. I was daily driving it when I first got it. Whenever I get a new car, this is kind of what I do. Kind of weird. I get a new car, new to me. I'll daily drive it for like a week, and then I'll not use it that much. That's just kind of how I am. But
it's normal.
I was going, the fuel light turns on at quarter tank.
I think I saw you said something about that. And it's like, hold on here.
And it's 14 gallons from there. I always fill up at quarter tank. It's 14 gallons. I think I spent $64 before I came here. And if I do my daily commute, I'll burn through this full tank every day. When I say full tank, I mean till the warning light comes on at quarter tank.
That's
and
insane.
driving like normal, like not driving like
no, seriously. You know, a lot
driving
of people,
normal or driving like Alec.
No, I'm driving like
you know what? He drives pretty normal. I think he got all of it out of his system with the E30 M3.
Yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous with the miles per gallon then. Holy crap.
Yeah. No. You know, not to get off topic, but a lot of people ask me, hey, Alec, is this a good first car? And they'll say 340i or something. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I don't suggest getting a fast first car. I'm not a father or anything. I don't have kids, but the way I was, I'm willing to admit I was immature. I'm willing to admit didn't know how to drive.
Dude, my Honda CR-V, dude, I was flat out all the time in that thing. Off-roading, donuts.
Dude, you remember my Jetta?
Oh, remember?
Yeah,
actually, I won't say it.
Drive that thing like crazy.
I remember one specific story we have.
Yeah.
We were in Mexico, of course.
Yeah, in Mexico, you know. It was like 13 on the dash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That thing was fun. We had a lot of fun in that thing. That was a pretty
fast
He was like because how much older are you than me? 2 years?
I'm going to be 26.
Yeah, so I'm 24. So he was like, he had a license out of like before my friends. So we used to have so much fun in that little thing.
Yeah, that was a fun car.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that M5's bad on gas. And that's why I don't drive it a lot. Like, I'm fortunate enough to not really have to worry about gas prices, but I don't care how much money you have. Like, if you're filling up every day, it's annoying.
Well,
it's annoying.
And to go back to the mechanic thing, like everybody hates on the S85s because they're
rightfully
so
rightfully
expensive.
So.
Well, like throttle actuators, rod bearings,
all that stuff. But
SMG pump.
if you do the right stuff, generally, it's not just gonna blow. It's gonna be expensive, but it's not like it's not like a vintage Ferrari. Like where you're chasing these gremlins or, you know, like an old Skoda or something.
That's why
Sam behind the camera just got a Skoda.
Doesn't have enough parts to...
Hey. Sam's like,
it
they
has
were built to be fixed with sticks and twigs. I was like, really? He's like, not actually.
What I did find really funny when Sam said in our group chat, he was like, I own more of a Porsche than you 944 boys.
Yeah, there's only 2 of us in this room that have a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car.
Actually, there's only one of us. That's a mid-engine car. You're starting to make me angry, Sam.
He's got a GT3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's got a GT3.
We haven't even spoken about his GT3.
Well, let me get my final thoughts out of the M5 first. If the M5 was reliable and good on gas, it'd be worth double.
Oh yeah,
I believe that.
100%.
It's a good
It's
car.
like an exotic sedan.
You gotta.
Well,
It
how
is
many-
an exotic sedan.
Yeah. How many cars can you buy? I'm not saying how much you purchase it for. Let's just say, essentially a tenth of the price of an Audi R8. What V10 cars can you get?
That's another reason. Yeah.
Audi R8, Lamborghini Gallardo, Lamborghini
You get like an
Huracan.
Audi S8.
Also,
Or
I
like an
guarantee
S8.
you. I
I don't
guarantee
know how much
you.
those go for.
I guarantee you, my M5's faster than like an 04 Gallardo with an E-gear.
Oh,
I really think
probably.
so. Yeah.
Dude,
No,
those
yeah.
things pull the E60s.
And
Like
then-
above
that
like
thing-
140, they
That's-
still
yes.
move. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
So there's a guy on Instagram. I don't know what he's called now, but whenever he gets a car, he changes. His name is Murray, and he always changes his name.
AMG Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he used to be like E92 Murray, and then he was when he was E60 Murray. He lives in New Jersey. He would post the craziest videos of his M5.
Yeah.
Like he'd be doing like
Yeah.
almost 200 miles an hour down in Jersey.
Yeah.
Like that car over 100, just like
Yeah, it keeps going.
crazy. That
Yeah.
car is nuts.
So when I first drove it, I was impressed. I mean, I'm not saying I had I don't want to say I had low expectations for the M5, but
But you've also driven and owned a lot of very fast, high horsepower cars.
yeah, like that M5 on the highway, like specifically on the highway, like it's a
Yeah,
fast
like
car.
hello.
Jail time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like you're going. Like my G80 M3, I will say the car's a little ridiculous. Like I look down, I'm like, whoa. Like I'm genuinely not even trying to speed. The M5 though, I mean, like you can kind of tell you're going fast, but like
Yeah,
it's
because there's
it's
drama.
The SMG,
Yeah.
it's quiet though, as you guys heard. It's a quiet
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like it. It's the second fun. What's the word I'm looking for?
Most.
It's the second. That or,
Most. He goes most.
that or the E36 M3 is the best cheap BMWs I've ever gotten,
Yeah.
That's cool.
for sure. I wish those M5, like my M5 has rod bearings and SMG pump and clutch done. That's like why I bought it. But I don't suggest, like people were tagging me in like ones that were like, don't buy one that needs work.
Yeah.
Or if it needs
You
minimal
spend
work,
tens
like
of thousands, like
not worth it. Not
Yeah.
worth it.
So, speaking of car deals, and as long as I've known you, I mean, you come from a family of Porsche lovers and Porsche enthusiasts, and you've always had, it was the BMWs and the Audis, and you've gotten your first Porsche.
I did it.
Which was a GT3, which is like crazy to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah,
that
I never-
car itself.
If you were to tell me my first, Porsche would be a GT3, I would have been like, what?
Yeah.
I got-
pretty wild.
I want a 944 so bad. I don't even know.
We
I
can
want
trade. I mean, it's fine.
Maybe.
Actually,
we'll talk
I don't
off
know.
we'll talk off camera. So I guess I'll tell them the story about my GT3.
Yeah,
It's a good story. So my GT3 is a 2022 911, well, obviously. It's shark blue. It has 4,000 miles, and you're probably thinking, oh, what a cool car. It's got a slight dent in it. This guy crashed it on the track. He has like multiple cars, Maybachs, McLarens, Ferraris. To him, this car is like you and I having like a cheap Civic. Like it just means nothing to him. So he rented the track out, to my knowledge, and I'll show you the video off camera, but
Okay.
his buddy said, can I do a lap? He said, oh yeah, sure. Buddy crashed on that lap.
Oh my God.
So he hit a tire wall, and it's a clean title, clean Carfax. Now, I'm not going to burn my reputation over this car, so I'm willing to tell people, like it has an accident and stuff, obviously. So how do I really start the story? He posted it on Facebook. I love Facebook. Buy and
I'm
sell
so
Facebook.
addicted.
I can no longer, did I say earlier already? I can't sell on Facebook because
people.
it's unfortunate. It's the one bad thing that's come from the TikTok. But anyways, my buddy tags me, and he was like, I was like the first comment, and he goes, "This is all you," because like me, I used to be on Copart in high school. Like now it's very saturated. Some deals pop up, but I've always wanted like a crash exotic because, as Antonio said, I drive. There's no reason for me to get a clean.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to just get like a clean example if I'm just gonna, I don't want to say ruin it, but use it.
Yeah.
So this GT3, I don't know, are you able to like edit photos on here or something?
Yeah. You can put them right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, you can put
Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Anyways, so the car has no structural or frame damage. I got very lucky in that department, but I guess I'll tell a story about me buying it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to say the price, but if they know, they know. Well, you guys know. So I had him down a little bit, decent amount. And this random guy from Florida, because the car was in Florida, offered him 20 grand more than what he had to post it for. And I'm like, well, there goes that deal. He's like, no, I want to sell it to you. You're a cool guy.
That's
And
cool.
I know you're going to use it.
That's cool.
So when I Googled him, all these manufacturing companies popped up. Bloomberg did articles on him, like all these other news outlets. So this guy, he must have been like truly low, because he didn't care. He was like, okay, fine, just meet me halfway of our original price. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll take it. I'm grateful. So what he did though is he didn't file an insurance claim or anything. Why would he? So I flew down to Florida to check it out, and I was like, it was a little more work than I thought. And then I go online, I start looking at prices, and there's this dealership. Actually, I won't get there yet. Anyways, I buy the car, and it comes to Rhode Island, and it's a clean like spec, shark blue. It's PDK, buckets, carbon roof, front nose lift, extended fuel range, and it is by far the cheapest 992 GT3 in the country. Like, I'm looking at Copart, like ones that are selling. Mine's still cheaper than all of them, even salvage title ones. Even mine's cheaper than some saltwater flood ones, which beyond. Yeah,
what are you gonna do with it unless you're like Tavarish? Yeah,
so now mine does need some work than some of them, don't get me wrong, but still a clean title, clean Carfax. So anyways, I buy the car, and I'm like, I need this. So I never thought my first Porsche would be a
it's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. So I'm glad I got it though, because it's going to fit my situation. I'll put 30,000 miles on it in the first year of ownership. I can shake on that. I plan to do the cross-country trip in October, but I don't know if it's going to be done by then. I know. I hate to break the news here, but so I have a little other plan up my sleeve. But anyways, so the reason why I bought it, the main reason why I bought it, is I'm Googling all the part numbers, and I'm like, these parts are ridiculous. Some parts are actually dirt cheap though. Excuse me, let me watch my mouth here. Some parts are pretty cheap for being a $200,000 car, because MSRP is $195. Some parts are not bad at all, and some parts are just like make my head hurt. So I found this dealership in Ohio, and their prices were so cheap. I couldn't believe it. Everywhere else was like, I guess I'll say it on here.
And you thought it was a scam?
Yeah, I actually didn't know what was going on. I called him. I go, what's the catch? He goes, okay, what are you talking about? So I guess I'll say how much I spent on the parts from that dealership. There's still more parts. Everywhere else, the lowest I could get was 34 to 35 grand. Got all the parts from them from 24 grand. 23.8. Yeah.
Pretty
and
wild.
So between the U-Haul flying out, he was like, the only catch is you have to come here to pick up the parts because it's expensive to ship them. And we don't ship airbags and glass. You have to pick it up. I said, okay. So I fly out and I pick the parts up. So the U-Haul was $400. The flights total were $400, and my hotel rooms were $300. So $1,500 in a day of my time. And turns out, right after I left the dealership, they got robbed.
No way.
Yeah.
Some guy like robbed. He stole a Macan, right?
Yeah, these two guys came in. To my
or
knowledge,
a Cayenne or whatever.
They stole a Cayenne, and then they robbed a bank, and then they got into a shootout with the police, and one of them died. And it happened 2 hours after I left.
Dude.
Oh my God.
Nuts.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
So what's now that you have all the parts for the car?
Yep.
And you've partnered with what, I forget his name. He has a YouTube, right, that he does. The guy that's building the car.
The guy fixing it. Yes.
Yeah.
Motorhead Garage.
Okay.
And V-Tuned.
Okay.
So the car's in Tennessee right now. They said they're going to start the quarter panel today or tomorrow, because the quarter panel, they think they can PDR it. They think.
So what does PDR mean?
Paintless dent removal.
Okay.
They think, but it's aluminum, so it's going to be tough. But it's even if you have to put some Bondo on it, it's better than cutting the quarter panel, because you have to put Bondo on it if you do the quarter panel anyways. So then the car, once it's done there, it's getting a full paint job, may I add, and we're going to keep it shark blue. Now, the reason why we have to paint the whole thing is, excuse me, it's only 2 panels off from being repainted. We got to repaint the hood, got to repaint the front bumper, rear bumper, passenger door, passenger quarter panel. So you are a quarter panel and door off on the driver's side from doing a full paint job. Just match it.
Yeah,
just match
that makes
it.
sense.
And the guy painting it, he's been painting for 35 years, and they're using the same company paint as Porsche in the clear coat.
Cool.
So I'm willing to bet money, obviously I'm paying for it, that it will be a pretty close to OEM paint job.
That's cool.
And it has a carbon fiber roof, so you don't have to paint the roof at least. And then we have to paint the wing. Yeah, that's the thing.
Did you have to buy a new wing? Because the wing was damaged in the
wing has a little bit of damage, but that can be fixed. So some parts, as I said, were ridiculous and some weren't. So like the hood is 10 grand. We were able to save the hood.
It's insane.
The wing was 6 grand. We were able to save that.
Wow.
The most expensive part I think I had to buy, the bumpers. The bumpers were 5 each.
Wow.
They're like 4,800, 4,600. The headlight was about 3 grand. But then like the fender is $700. You know how much a fender is on my 2022 M3? $650.
Oh, this is
So it's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like some parts were totally reasonable. I bought a headliner used for $800 instead of new for $2,200. I'm trying to think of other parts. The door was $1,600.
Well, I remember the last time I went to your house and I walked into the basement and it was just like a sea of like GT3 parts, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, you guys can post a picture of I'll show you the picture of all the parts. It's crazy. So I asked him, I said, is this the largest 992 GT3 order you've gotten? He looks at me, he goes, it's one of the biggest orders we've ever gotten. I'm like, what? Now he told me the new 992 GT3 RS, you know how much a bumper is on that?
Ugh, I don't even want to know. 10 grand, 15 grand.
Oh, what? Oh, it's 5. Yours is 5. Yeah, I'll go 17.5.
He said it was like 25 grand.
Oh my
And he
God.
said someone already damaged a bumper on one. He backed it in his garage or something. So he goes,
That's
sometimes
one of those ones where it's like, you hit a what? When you call the insurance company.
So he says that they sometimes get orders, like someone will maybe back up and like, for example, I guess the guy backed up and hits like that and something else, and that was like 30 grand. So he's like, we get expensive orders for like a few parts because this is one of the biggest orders we've gotten. So the car will be done in a few months though.
So tell us about this cross-country trip. Like,
so
because you've also, through TikTok, you've been able to meet a lot of pretty big car personalities.
Oh, huge.
And there's
compared to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your follower growth has been tremendous. In a year, you've gotten almost 150,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah. So
and you've partnered with that guy Kevin down in the e-commerce guy.
Yeah.
And he's doing an event, right?
Yeah. So me and a bunch of other TikTokers are going down to Dallas on the 26th. We're going to host a car meet there. That won't be part of the cross-country trip because that's in August. But back to the cross-country trip, a lot of people followed me. I followed them back, and I'm like, whoa. And I've become friendly with some people. I haven't even met them, but I've been talking to them for like months. So the GT3, I just think it'd be funny if, maybe not funny, but cool if it just gets more stories added to it. It's already got a cool story.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool. So obviously we're in Rhode Island. I'm going to stop a little bit on the East Coast, but I'd like to just kind of shoot it right to Florida. The previous owner of the GT3 said that he's going to rent out the racetrack and we're going to race.
Oh my God.
He already bought another Shark Blue GT3, by the way.
So what turn did the car get into the accident?
17 on, what's the name of it?
Sebring, or that's not, is that in Florida?
Sebring International. It was in Fort Myers, or I forget.
Whatever you do, when you go through that turn, just go through it slow.
Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of me at that turn. So anyways, the car.
Send it to the guy who crashed it.
Yeah.
He said I'm gonna meet him.
Oh boy.
I'm excited. Maybe we'll do an interview.
Don't let him
with
drive the car.
I know, right? So the cross-country trip, I'm going to go from Rhode Island, stop a little bit on the East Coast, see some friends, but mostly go right to Florida. That's the goal. Go right to Florida. That's kind of where my second life is. And then I'm going to go to Texas. A few people I want to collab with in Texas. Then I'm going to maybe go to Arizona for a little bit, maybe a day or two. Then maybe LA. It all depends if this car, because the car might be done in time for me to go there, but not to hit all these places.
So what's the oil changes that you have to do?
I'm going to change the oil right before I leave.
Okay.
So, I mean, in my opinion, you ask me, I would change an oil every, I think it depends how hard you drive, 4K-ish miles on a GT3. That's just me, though. Yeah. It's like asking who you voted for when you talk about oil and stuff and everything. But, so I will change the oil like right before I leave, and then probably like right after the trip. Well, I'm going to do a track day, though, so maybe I'll change it after.
Do it after that.
Oil filter is, I think it's $100 in the GT3.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Sick.
Sweet. So I'm going to drive, if the car isn't done.
Yeah.
I've thought about this. I'm going to
take the E60 M5.
Yeah, I know a lot of people
stop for gas every 5 minutes.
A lot of people are telling me to do that. A lot of people are telling me to do that. So I'll take the G80 M3. Okay. Maybe. But then my dad was kind of talking about this. He's like, do you even want to do the country the cross country trip if you don't have the GT3? I was like,
Would you postpone the trip to take the GT3?
I can't. I have to be in November. Excuse me. I have to be in Vegas by November.
Okay.
So that's the whole other thing with the cross country trip is I was going to drive from Rhode Island to Florida to like Texas, then end up in Vegas for SEMA and F1 because I'll be in Vegas for the month.
Oh, okay.
So I think I'm debating taking the G80 or buying a temporary supercar.
This is your next quest.
Yes. I guess I'll talk about it. I have two contenders. McLaren 12C, which will probably break.
Yeah, but it would make for good content.
Or an AMG GTS.
I voted on that on your story last night.
And what would you take, Ben?
Oh, I voted 12C. Immediately, I saw it and it was like 12C. And it's like, because his caveat was, I'm only having it for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like then there's no debate.
Well,
It's much more thrilling. It's much more fun. You get a lot more looks. The top
Yeah.
comes off.
we've both driven the 12C. We've both driven a couple variants of the AMG
If it
GT
was a
platform.
GTR, it might be different, but like
yeah.
the 12C is thrilling.
I
for
think the
100 grand.
12C is. We've been lucky to drive a lot of really cool cars. I think the 12C is one of the most exciting cars that you can drive.
Yeah, I hear great things about
its
it.
dual nature is really fascinating because you can put it in like its normal mode setting,
Yeah.
and the suspension is super plush. It's comfortable, and then if you put it in its track setting, it's like explosive. That
Yeah.
car is so fast, and I can't even imagine how fast it must have been when it came out in
Yeah, I mean, it was ahead of its time.
2012 or whatever.
I'm telling you, I love McLarens. It's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah, they're not good
really
to own.
is.
But for 3 months,
Like, that's the thing. You know, a lot of people too. They're like, people think I'm crazy for owning cars for 2 to 3 months. But two things. One, I barely lose any money doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's like, I feel like I just want to own as many things as I can. That's like some people like
Not gonna take any of it with you when you're gone. You know?
Yeah, like I'm not very sentimental towards my cars, as you guys know, but like the G80 M3, that's like the one car I've had. Like I've kind of been sentimental towards just because it kind of changed my life. But most of the time, I think the average length I keep a car is 2.5 months based off the math I did. Like,
Wild.
yeah, I know. I wish more people didn't think it was so crazy. But
Hey, I mean, I think that's also partly due to the TikTok success and everything else.
yeah, now I kind of
from taking risks and
Yeah, I don't really make any money off TikTok, so I'm not like there yet. But adding on to what he said, I do kind of like making videos for TikTok. Obviously, I like doing it. I'm doing it for a year. But so like, for example, my wagon, I can't really make any content with it, so I'm probably gonna sell it.
what? Not to cut you off, but I don't think people see you having fun and doing all these things, but I don't think people understand how much work you post. Like you post like what, 3 videos a day almost?
1 to 3 videos a day.
Yeah, every single day. That's a lot of videos to me.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of creativity, and you're always keeping up the energy, and that's pretty hard to keep that up and to do that every day.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a job that I don't get paid for.
Yeah.
I get paid minimal. Yeah, but
China.
so yeah, I like doing it though. It's pretty fun. I've made some pretty good connections from it. I mean, a lot of people run into me. It's ridiculous. Like, I think I was with my mom one day and someone ran into me. My mom's like, seriously? Like, you weren't lying about all that? It's like, geez.
She said it here, but we're being told to wrap it up from the boys behind the camera. But we're really excited to see your journey, your cross country journey, and
thank you,
and where you're going to take your projects. And I think you're inspiring a lot of younger guys, especially at our events. And I know when you come to our Audrain Cars and Coffee, you get an influx of people coming to meet you, which I think is pretty cool. And I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. Make sure to subscribe to Alex's channel and check out his TikTok, and follow him for his cross-country drive and the finished product of his GT3 build.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank
Convince
you.
him to trade his Porsche for mine.
We're going to talk details now.